Our newest volunteer here is Christmas Winiger.
Hi. I go by Chris. Hi, Chris.
Your full name is Christmas.
Yeah. I was born on December 25th, a week early, so my mom figured my destiny was Christmas. You look familiar. Oh, it's you. You're volunteering for this too?
Proudly.
You're like everywhere.
Of course I am. I'm Santa. Or if you prefer, you can call me Nick.
Finally, we can talk about the real reason for this season.
Yeah, Julian, what were you going to say?
I would like to start or see the trend started of worshiping Santa as if he is God.
Okay.
Because I don't think do we ever see that? We don't really see that. And I feel like that is he is becoming more of a revered, respected figure.
I had
the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Interesting. And according to Kirk Cameron's Christmas conjecture, Santa, there's like something biblical about Santa.
Yeah, he beat the shit out of all the little hipsters.
Oh, right.
KKKK, Kirk Cameron's Christmas conjecture.
Yeah. Yeah, in Saving Christmas, that's right. I actually forgot what it was, but now I'm remembering. In Saving Christmas, he tells a story about where Santa's really from, and he's this like mob boss guy, but like for Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like lit epic, mob boss or something. Well, I think now that they've discovered the tomb of Santa Claus in the country of Turkey,
Tomb of the Unknown Santa,
then maybe he could become like at least a regional or local deity, for like maybe not the whole country, but maybe there's like a state or like a region of the United States where like the Santa cult becomes the de facto religion.
Did it have juice in it like that mummy tomb? You can drink.
Do not drink the Santa juice.
Eggnog.
Yeah, it was
drank
covered
the
in
eggnog from the mummy tomb. Or the
Do they have
Santa
enough
tomb.
DNA to clone Santa?
These were questions. This is why we need to support independent journalism, because I did not see any of the articles.
There was an elf encased in amber. They're going to extract the DNA.
He was actually buried with 1,000 elves, terracotta elves, and one day they will march with him.
We should make a movie about how Santa's real, but he doesn't come around anymore because the U.S. government is controlling the North Pole and like getting the elves to like build weapons or like source fuel or something.
Plus our missile. I think Reagan killed Santa with the Star Wars, the missile defense system.
And he was just like, well, that's what we had to do.
Yeah. That is, I'm going to file a FOIA thing for that to find out if Santa was actually killed by Reagan. They would never tell us.
Well, Reagan was so
down.
anti-communist, and what Santa's doing, just giving out toys to everyone equally.
He's also all in red.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh my
there's
God,
actually
that's a good point.
maybe that's the reason why there could never be an American Santa cult, because like Santa is somewhat of a subversive figure, really, when you think about it. Listen, I love Santa. I think what he does is ostensibly a great thing, but the fact is, it does not line up with American values.
I disagree. And this is the second time in as many days where I've had to point out that Santa Claus is not a leftist icon.
Okay.
He's an old white man who's in a position of authority.
Sure.
And he does means testing on every child in the world in order to give out toys that were like manufactured by essentially slave labor.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think he's not a communist.
He distributes luxuries that have blood on them.
Yeah.
To only in a meritocratic way.
Yeah.
Right. And he's promoting coal if you're bad, like coal burning use.
Yes.
That's true. And also he's like the surveillance state. Like he tries to get you hyped about Santa paying attention to everything that you're doing. He sees you when you're sleeping.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And who is he to judge if you've been naughty or nice?
Yeah, it's on a spectrum, I know, but what's great about Christianity and why I still think that, like, you know, the Christian God defeats Santa is that, you know, in Christianity we learn that there's not a relative morality.
Mm-hmm.
God has laid out very clearly what makes you naughty or nice. Santa, I have yet to see the commandments. Tell me how I can be nice.
Thou shalt sled merrily.
Thou shalt be gay?
Hey,
This was written a long time ago.
not sounded so bad. What's well, the 10 Commandments are all things you shouldn't do, except for honor thy mother and father.
Right, that's the only positive 10.
Yeah.
We should rewrite the 10 Commandments to make them positive.
We need some amendments.
It's true.
We need the 10 amendments.
The 10 amendments,
Yeah.
right.
I did thinking about the Santa cult though. I think there is something there. I had a friend a while ago who she was raised atheist by atheist parents, and she said that when she was a kid she would literally pray to Santa.
Whoa.
There we go.
Like it wasn't just like asking for presents once a year. She would like pray to him.
That
Because
is
like
so
she'd at least been told
fucking
Santa was
cool.
real, so she's going with that.
That is so cool.
Well, there we go. And she turned out seems okay.
Oh yeah.
So there you go. The Santa cult rides again.
Santa works.
Santa works.
Santa works. That would be a cool like like you rent an office to make some toys. Like yeah, you just go to like some floor of an office building and there's like little suites you can rent if you need to make a toy real quick.
Maybe he does that with his workshop for the rest of the year. Well, they're probably working on the toys all year.
That
Ooh,
seems to be,
actually-
at least that's yeah.
Me and my daughter, who is 5, had an interaction the other day at the grocery store where she was just like super hyped for whatever reason. She was just like sprinting up and down the aisles, which is fortunately for her, she's very cute. So anytime she like runs into somebody, I'm like, I'm so sorry. And they're like, she's fine. And I'm like, please stop telling her that.
She has cute privilege.
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
But anyway, she was mostly being good, in good spirits. And there is, at this grocery store that we go to specifically, sometimes there's a baker working who, when she hears her voice, is like, that's you again. I know that voice. And she comes out and just gives her a bag of cookies. This has happened like 4 times, 5 times. And I'm like, why do you like and the first time I was like, do you think she's somebody else? I've never seen you before. Anyway, but it's been like this since. And right after that, this other very friendly old man she's like really excited, right? So then this very friendly old man is like, oh, are you excited for Christmas? And she goes, yes, I'm on the nice list, and starts jumping and spinning around. And he starts jumping and spinning around too. It was like cute. And my head briefly, I was like, who cares about the naughty and nice list? I guess she's just hearing it from her classmates. But it was like within 1 minute, he was like, and if you go to jw.org, you can see how your family can be together forever, because it's a crazy world that we live in. Don't you agree? It's like, yep.
To
thank
you or to
I'll
your
go to
daughter?
it. No, he's saying this to me. It was a
my
fairly
gosh.
smooth transition.
That's
He had a
wild.
good vibe to him.
We gotta get him on the podcast. Like, we've been trying to get segues like that going for years.
Yes.
We can't get him that smooth. He just went right into the jw.org. Sir, I've been there.
Yeah.
And first of all, don't be talking about the nice list and then tell me to go to jw.org.
Yeah.
Fix yourself before you try to fix me.
I'm trying to get on the 100K list.
Yep. The 144K list. That's the real list
144
you want
club.
to be on. Yeah.
144 club.
Well, not to belay our review, but I do want to brag that my Uber driver prayed for me on Monday.
Oh, wow.
Just having a religious encounters with strangers.
That's cool.
He was a very nice man, and we were talking. He told me he was a pastor, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I'm Christian." We talked, and I told him, he found out I was a musician, and he was just like, he basically was like, keep making music because like the world needs more like Christian voices, or I was like, okay, thanks. And then he like goes about to drop me out Julian's, and he was like, can I pray for you right now? And I was like, yes.
That's awesome.
Because I love a novel interaction.
Yeah.
And this guy was very nice. He was not creepy. So he prayed for me in the Uber. They're everywhere, folks.
You guys are so nice.
I know.
I can't remember if I said it on my interaction with the missionaries.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But,
well, you're.
Yeah, I took their emails and
I mean,
made fake ads for free.
I mean, they're like
Pelotons.
knocking on your
Contact
door and
information.
shit. That's different.
Yeah, it's all fun when you run into them at the grocery store, the Uber, and the interaction ends. But the second they find out where you live,
And they come like
It's over.
repeatedly, and like
and
they
get
they
through
get
the
the
fucking
gate code.
locked gate, I don't even know how they got in there.
You're not supposed to do that. So I think that in that case, a little bit of spiritual warfare was probably necessary.
I did what I had to do.
Right.
I am a Santa believer. I do not have time for this. Do you know what list you're on? That's my ad for
Santa.
What would you call it?
Santa worship.
What's the Church of Latter-day Saint Nicholas is?
Well,
Presents. Pass them on.
pass them on. And I can think of someone this year who is getting the presents out there. And that is the Christmas CEO.
Mhm.
Let's talk about him. Let's talk about her. Welcome back to Boys Bible Study. Merry Christmas. The Advent calendar is creeping closer and closer to that special day. And as longtime listeners of the show will know, every December, what else would we do? But every Sunday when we review a movie, it's got to be a Christmas movie.
Yep.
We have a really fun one this week. It's called Christmas CEO. People love CEOs right now. We just figured this would be a great time to celebrate them. But as usual, I am Ash, here with my co-hosts.
Scott.
And Julian.
Yes, the Christmas CEO.
What would you guys say if we just changed this podcast to just Christmas movies year round?
That would be honestly kind of fun.
Do you think there is a podcast that does that?
It's got to be somewhere. But like
Never Ending Christmas? Eternal Christmas.
Eternal Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas eternal.
Ooh, making it sound like Evangelion makes me like it more.
Yeah.
I would imagine someone somewhere does that. And, I will say the film that we chose for this week, it's a lot more Christmas than Christian,
Mm-hmm.
This is not one of those real reason for the season movies. That's okay to me because not only is it about the CEO, sort of the Santa of American society, also, it's just great to watch a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
Like, what would Christmas season be without Hallmark movies?
It would be about 40 less Christmas movies a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
The reason for the season.
The real reason for the season. Scott, what's the vibe check on Hallmark nowadays? I mean, this film we watched is from 2021, I believe. So, not the most current.
This was a COVID movie.
I guess so.
Oh, yeah. Good
You're right.
point.
You're right. They did a pretty good job of hiding it.
Yeah.
I think.
But what's the vibe on Hallmark right now?
Well, there was kind of like a rift in Hallmark around that same time, maybe a year before or something.
Schism.
Where a schism, yes. Where they
Santa believers and the non-Santa believers.
it was like written into a movie that two women were gonna kiss, and then they were like, no, this has gone too far. Hallmark's gone too far to the left. And they had to reel back, and one of the main people like switched to some Christian thing, but they reeled it in a little bit as far as sticking to like conservative, just like no stakes, no tension possible movie making.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
with like a man and a woman, and
yeah, just nothing to there can only be like one minor thing to worry about, and you have to have full belief that it'll get resolved, and it will get resolved. That to me are the hallmarks of a Hallmark movie.
Wow.
And so
It's just,
for the
it's a lot
most
like
part,
Santa.
yeah, I think anymore I have about 2 Hallmark movies in me a year. I don't really like that they get lumped into Lifetime. I think Lifetime is much better to
Yeah.
keep it
It's got an edge
short.
to it.
It does.
Hallmark
It does.
kind of reminds me of those North Korean movies we were watching the other day.
Ooh, yeah, it totally does.
Yeah.
Because like
Even in fact, somehow even like more propagandized because they don't like overtly do anything like
Right.
about the state or whatever.
right, but it's still just as Scott said, like there can't be anything in it that even like raises an eyebrow about traditional values.
Yeah.
It's not that the films explicitly promote conservative values or prescribe anything, but they are just like an everlasting, ongoing monument to.
You're just supposed to think life the way it is perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's just an endless permutation of the same thing over and
Yeah.
over again.
And all conflict stems from like you not making a move on your high school crush.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But then if you do, it will work out.
Yes.
Julian and I watched this North Korean movie. Wait, Scott, did you send that to us?
Oh, I sent that.
Oh, no,
You sent the
Julian sent
playlist
that
to
link
the chat.
Yeah.
He and I ended up watching one, and it was great. It was about
It's like a comedy.
it was a comedy. Yeah, we wanted to see, because we've been watching the Three Stooges, and I think we've just been really in a comedy mood, so we wanted to watch a North Korean comedy, and it was like an unmarried man who like still lives with his family, and he's like what 30 or something.
Yeah, I said he was 30. He was clearly like in his late 40s.
Yeah.
He was like the same age as the dad.
Well, they don't drink a lot of water over there, so it's hard to say. Maybe he just looked older than he was. But the funny thing is, he had like 5 sisters, and all of his sisters were like high-level athletes. That was like their
Yeah.
personality. Like they each did a different sport. Like one was like, I'm a basketball player. The other was like, I'm a gymnast. And they all wanted to get him a wife. So the whole point of the movie was like all of the girls trying to find love on different sports teams for him. Oh, he was a sports journalist.
Yeah, he was. I think he was a historian of Taekwondo.
Yes, right. So a very sports interested family, but he was he's the intellectual sports appreciator, and the women were all like the athletes.
And I think he ended up going with a fellow Taekwondo historian.
Scholar, yes.
Yeah.
A fellow scholar of Taekwondo.
Which is interesting because that, out of all the sports, was the only one that was created in Korea.
Ah, that's
This
cool.
is the kind of like subtle,
Yeah, that's a really good
like,
point.
nationalism that you would see in like a Hallmark movie.
That's a really good point. So cool movie. Honestly, pretty fun. I liked it.
Yeah, it was good.
How long was it?
They don't want me living in North Korea. It was, I think, like an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't actually remember if we finished.
I don't think we did,
Oh,
but we liked it, but not that much.
yeah. You caught the
But yeah,
vibe.
the Hallmark movies are definitely a lot like the North Korean films. I think that's a good analogy. And it's not like the conservative Christian films we watch where it's like, and then the camera pans to then a character says, "I know what I'm fighting for," and then looks up and there's an American flag there. It's not
Yeah.
like that. No.
And they kill the evil gay character who's like trying to destroy the church.
Yeah, it's not quite like that. But they do. Honestly, it has the trappings of like effete, urban white millennialism, but it still upholds, certain values, which we'll, describe a bit more. But
Less stakes than the movie we watched last week. Like people
Yeah.
don't even, like last week, there was only stakes because the town made a huge deal out of something that could have easily been resolved. Not easily, but
Right.
like within their means to resolve. Take care of the really poor family. in a town full of wealth. Possibly you could consider that the true Christmas spirit. Ultimately, they do that. Although, as we discussed, the family had to put on a fucking show for him first. But yeah, like that's not going to happen in this. Like, you don't expect people to get like bent out of shape for something that's like a little over the top.
Right.
Yeah.
There's also nothing to get bent out of shape about, as you pointed out. I mean, there's no poverty in this movie. There's no one needs to be taken
No
care
shown
of,
poverty
like
anyway. They are
Right,
doing like
yeah.
a toy drive. That's a big part of the movie.
I suppose you're right.
But that's for, rich kids can go to that too.
Yes,
Well, yeah,
and it's about the idea of it anyway. It's not about who's on the receiving end of that. It's about the people who are very capable of putting that on. It's just about them feeling good about it.
Let's talk a bit about the plot of this film, because there will be more of the Hallmark propaganda to unravel as we are digging through it. Who is the Christmas CEO? There's actually two.
Yeah. The main one, though, is Christmas.
Yes. That was actually, I kind of really fucked with that move in this movie. That was cool. Literally just naming the character of your Christmas movie Christmas.
And she's the CEO.
And she's the CEO. She's Christmas
That's
CEO.
awesome.
And she was born on the 25th.
Born
Yes,
on the 25th.
that is. So there is a reason why she is named Christmas.
And did you notice this? So in the beginning of the movie, and a lot of the movie is the tension between Christmas and her male counterpart, Joe, her childhood friend, who obviously she almost doesn't fall in love with, and she does, and they have different values, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But I don't know if y'all noticed this in the beginning. You probably all did, because it wasn't very subtle. He was born in July, and she was born on Christmas. So there could be people no more opposite from each other. I wrote in my notes, I was like on my Camille Paglia shit. I wrote like Christmas, July, masculine, feminine. I was like, this is amazing. And that was the most complicated thing the movie really did. After that, it wasn't even that complicated.
He should have been named Independence.
Oh, that would have been so sick.
Born on the 4th of July.
Oh, man, that would be fucking sick. I wrote, I followed in my notes. I wrote, this is amazing. Jungian archetypes. Maybe this is the new brew. Hit it. That was I got my analysis.
We should have a massive terrorist attack on Christmas Day from the Santa believers to like mark the our separation from the United States, like our declaration of our
When
own
you
sovereignty.
say we should,
I am the leader of the Santa separatists.
the Santa separatists. Yeah.
What do you
the
have in
North
mind?
Pole
You don't have to
separatists.
say. I don't want to blow up your spot, but what do you have in mind? What type of? You don't have to say how you would do it, but
I think that we could. Actually, don't want to say the first thing that come to my mind. Very poor taste. Let's just say Christmas trees easy to hack into these days. They're all on unprotected Wi-Fi, Bluetooth networks.
You know, it's too bad. Why can't we just have one unified pole? It's
That's
a
what we
shame.
want.
It's a shame that the North and South Pole have had to split from each other. And like
whoa.
when anyone's from the South Pole, they're always like, "Oh, I'm from the South Pole."
Yeah.
I wish you could just say, "No, I'm from the pole."
Trump is going to declare martial law until he can weed out the North Pole sympathizers in Congress.
Trump is going to declare Marshall's law. You're going to have to go shopping for your Christmas gifts in Marshall's.
That motherfucker would.
I know he would. You have to buy your Axe body spray gift sets and caramel popcorn packs.
I went to a Burlington coat factory recently. Have either of you ever set foot in a Burlington coat factory?
No, actually.
I think so.
It's pretty crazy. If you haven't been in one recently, it's like
not
it's
recently.
Coats are maybe like 30% of the store at this point, and it's like
Interesting.
the rest is like a Hobby Lobby. It's just like random ass shit, including lots of like AI generated art.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah. not like tons, but like you really notice it there that it's just like, oh, that's what, like nobody's going to stop you from fucking, you're just one of those places that prints shit out. And it's like,
right.
You wouldn't be able to tell the difference except for the fact that like if you just don't ask for like a style when you do like an AI prompt, it just spits out the same weird like kind of photorealistic 3D thing.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of stuff of like that in the wall art section, and then just like it's very, very bizarre place. But yeah, I don't know. Speaking of Marshalls and Christmas, it's a very cheerless place, and that's what myself and my group are trying to bring back to the American value of cheer.
Yeah.
Have either of you been
Mandatory
to Ollie's before?
Yes.
And
No,
Ollie's.
what's that?
Oh, this place is
Ollie's
cheap
bargain
as hell.
outlet.
It looks like
Like an
things
East
could
Coast thing,
fall
or-
on you all over the place. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's an East
It's
Coast thing.
I think it's this. We had it in Pennsylvania. If there is one out here in California, I've never seen it. But yeah, it's like everything in the store is made out of like unfinished wood, like all the shelving and stuff. Like it's a big store, and there's a chain. The mascot of Ollie is this like caricature style drawing of an Einstein looking old man.
Whoa.
And everything has this very kind of like, it's honestly like cool. Like everything has this very like caricature art vibe. And so the branding is kind of like loose and jazzy and like off kilter. And like,
Cool.
I remember like my mom shopping for furniture there, and me, old enough to not want to be with her all the time, but like too young to really stay home. I just like looked for books to read, and the only thing they had was like Christian books. So I like read like
Perfect.
weird, like, yeah, exactly.
And that's how Ash became a Christian.
And that's how I became a Christian. I
Wow.
was saved by Saint
Found-
Ollie.
I went there fairly recently because I was getting wrapping paper, and I figured it would be cheap there because basically Ollie's just buys like things in bulk for ridiculously cheap, and then
Right.
just every section is a huge mess.
Resells them to the old and mentally ill.
But when I found the wrapping paper section, the manager, I guess, was interviewing something like at a table, like a folding table that was set up in the middle of the wrapping paper. And I was like, this is crazy. I'm just like shopping next to somebody giving their interview. And I was like, should I work here?
Yes. You are an Ollie's man.
Yeah.
Ollie's sounds
You could
awesome.
uplift. I know Ollie's is goated. I kind of want to go when I go for home for Christmas.
I want to see this mascot. I might have to ditch Santa for this guy.
For Ollie's.
Yeah.
There's another Ollie's cult, fertility cult. What's the name of the what toy company
Corner
does Christmas
Toys.
start?
No? Was it Corner Toys or was that the one at the end?
I think
No,
that was the end,
no.
the final.
Yes, that was the
shit.
end.
Christmas
She
Corporation.
Spoilers. Don't rewind if you accidentally heard that. Plug your ears.
Oh yeah, so she is the CEO and co-founder of CJ Toys.
CJ for
And
Christmas and July. Joe.
Joe.
Christmas
Maybe
and
Joe
Joe.
is
Yeah,
supposed to
his
be like
name's Joe.
July.
Joe Sullivan.
July.
That's her counterpart.
July.
Right. They
Sounds like they're talking about our president, Joe Lai.
the two of them were friends since they were little kids, and the one of the first scenes of the movie is the two of them selling toys at a roadside stand. Since they were little kids, they both had the dream that they would be toy makers, and it turns out when they grew up, they actually co-founded a successful toy company, but we will soon learn there was a split between Christmas and Joe. Their values were not compatible. They were having a difficult time doing business together, and Joe actually stepped down from CJ Toys, effectively ending his friendship with Christmas. And Christmas is now the high-powered, suit-wearing, high-femme CEO of CJ Toys.
Similar themes to 13 going on 30, which I also watched recently.
Oh, nice.
Of childhood friends who the woman becomes a powerful, heartless CEO. And the childhood crush-ish male is like a, tries to maintain their independence, their spirit, the like punk rock spirit.
Right.
In that movie, it's photography. In this one, it's toy making.
Right. Yeah, been a while since I saw that one. But yeah, I mean, this is like all Hallmark movies, this is a well-trodden format. And basically every Hallmark movie makes a distinction between materialism and anti-materialism and male and female.
Mm-hmm.
And basically those two variables are opposite from each other. And depending on which movie you watch, either one could be opposed to each other. Although I've noticed with the Hallmark movies, it does tend to be the women who are like the CEOs, and the men kind of free them emotionally from the prison of their masculinized behavior.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of... I'd be interested in seeing like the history of it, because I feel like every time I've randomly watched a Hallmark movie or like a little bit of one, it's always like a woman is in... The woman is very professional, put together, and she's put into some scenario where she meets a man who's, like you say, in the free spirit.
Yeah. And she then has to, even though he has like rejected his masculinity when it comes to like corporate America.
Yeah.
Even though he has rejected his masculinity by not participating in that system, she has tried to put on a kind of masculinity by achieving in a male-dominated field. Their meeting sort of frees them both from their rejection of their gendered values and allows them to take on like a traditional gender role in a domestic way that becomes a saving grace for both of them and ultimately like unites them together in their shared purpose, which is to, have 1.5 kids or whatever they're going to do.
2.5.
2.5. I don't know. Not anymore. Birth rates are falling.
What are we going to
Is that
do?
true? They're always saying
Yes.
that.
No, it really is true. It's like, I don't know if like crisis is the right word because like, overpopulation or who knows. But
Yeah.
every country simultaneously is reporting like declining birth rates. It's like a worldwide trend. People don't want to fuck anymore. No one wants to fuck anymore.
Yeah. And if they do, they're wearing 5-6 condoms.
I know.
Wow.
So you practically can't even feel anything.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's the point.
Hmm.
Let's get Hallmark on it.
Hallmark condoms with that they come pre-made with holes poked in them.
Yeah.
to get the birth rate back up.
The Christmas fertility doctor.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's my sort of gender studies, queer theory ass analysis of the Hallmark movies. Not impossible stuff to parse here. Like this is pretty much like the MO of Hallmark. And we're going to see that happen with Christmas and Joe. But
the simplest way of breaking that down is that the woman protagonist is into catching up with modern masculinity, and the man protagonist is embracing traditional masculinity and older values of what is good in the world.
He's hanging out with his dad. He's in the artisanal toy factory.
That's right.
He's working with his hands.
Yes.
That's masculine.
Yeah. And he wants to fix
he's
toys.
also-
They make a point to say that he can fix toys.
Right.
And he's giving to charity.
Right.
He's not about the money. He's just about the craft.
He does an annual jamboree.
What are they? A group of animatronic bears? They're having a jamboree.
Okay. All right. That's crossing the line.
But I like that, as one of you already pointed out, that in this film, charity is just like a nebulous, we'll give that to charity.
Yeah.
It does imply that somewhere in the margins of this film, there is a charity. There are people who need to receive charity.
Yeah.
But fortunately for me, and I'm very pleased about this, I did not have to see any of these people.
It'd be a horror movie.
Well, that would be. Well, this is what makes it a Hallmark movie, because that would be tension, right? Why are they
Right.
poor?
Yes.
Why don't
Yeah.
they have that? What is this situation? You can't think about that. That's
would kinda make
derailing the
you-
reason you put on the Hallmark movie.
Yeah, it might undermine the main problem of a CEO possibly not getting to be a CEO of a larger company because she can't get like her business partner to sign off on selling her the company they started together at a massive profit.
Yeah.
The
Which is-
existence of poor people in that scenario might make you think that it's a little frivolous to be following this character around.
But she's always
Perhaps.
wanted to be CEO.
Yeah,
what?
she
She's always
wanted
wanted
to be
to be
CEO. They show that
she
from the
is.
start when they hit.
She is the CEO.
She is.
already.
She's always
CEO.
wanted to be.
Yeah.
And then
I
she's
guess you
wanted
never-
to expand
even when you
too.
even when you become the toy CEO, you don't stop wanting to be the toy CEO.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Also, her
Right.
company's like successful. It's not
Yeah.
like she would lose anything if the merger didn't go through, you know?
Yeah, let's talk about the merger, because this merger
Okay.
comes across on very strange circumstances. Christmas is approached. Go on. Were you going to say, Scott?
Oh, just that the merger is the one issue that we have in the Hallmark movie, because that is a thing. You have
Yes.
one issue in a Hallmark movie, and
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah. Anyway, go on.
No, it's true. And the merger in this film comes across in a very funny way that I think really makes corporate decision making seem very cuddly. Christmas is approached by the CEO of Arlo Toys. And I think it's worth pointing out that the CEO of Arlo Toys is also a single woman who wears suits. She is a black woman. So we have two women of color in, CEO roles. And, she sees, she notices Christmas's work, and she says, I'm planning to retire. And this doesn't, I'm even me trying to explain it doesn't make any sense. I want to know that my company is going to be in good hands. So I want to merge our companies and for you to be the CEO. Why?
Yeah, I would feel pretty bad if I was, the person directly under the CEO of Arlo Toys and I saw this movie.
Yeah,
Why not come to me first?
I know. I
I'm
mean,
there.
maybe there's like a solidarity thing as women in the toy industry,
It's a
but
DEI merger. It's funny that her plan, they try to make it seem like so noble. I don't know what, but the plan is
cockamamie-ass plan.
I am planning on retiring and I just need to make sure that this massive merger goes through so I can make $150 million right before I retire.
Sure. Yeah, it's hey, that's her prerogative. She's got the company.
Yeah. But
But-
a dream come true for Christmas too, because am I remember this right? She always looked up to Arlo Toys.
I believe so. Something like
Yeah.
that.
So there's another reason why we need to be rooting for this. Because not only is she the CEO and she should remain the CEO,
Yes.
she wants to be a CEO.
Yes, she does.
And she always wanted to be the CEO of Arlo Toys.
Mm-hmm.
And as we learned from Dallas Jenkins, if you want something and you're successful already, then God will move mountains
Yes.
to make that happen. And that is reason enough alone for us to be rooting for you.
Yeah, and I mean, Dallas went the extra mile and he prayed for it. As we reported last week, he he told the media that to acquire the rights to the story of the best Christmas pageant ever, he set a calendar alarm in his phone to pray every day. Pray for pageant. So he did the extra mile. The cool thing about being successful is your success alone is a prayer to God.
Yes.
And if you are successful, then you will get more success.
You know that guy's tithing too. He's got to be.
Dallas probably
Oh,
is.
Yeah.
Because he's teacher's pet.
And Christmas CEO, I guess like doing a toy drive is kind of like tithing for Santa.
Yeah. I mean, there's nods to like Christian values related to Christmas. I think everybody who celebrates Christmas says, well, yeah, it's a season for giving and goodwill, but they never connect it back to the church.
The false
in this movie.
Santa, Jesus.
Right. They connected with Santa quite a bit.
There is a real Santa in this movie, which is...
That's right.
I forget if that ever comes into bigger play than just like a couple winks
Nope.
here, but it is...
Nope.
It's funny how Santa is basically given like the gift of second sight in this film.
Yeah.
Not frequently a thing that's attributed to Santa, but that's why he's, our Messiah. That's why he came to Earth to rescue us all, because he saw the path we're heading down, and he's here to warn us every year.
Santa sees all.
He does.
Yes.
And he like bumps into Christmas at one time and says like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm late for a meeting. And he's like, that's not the most important meeting you'll have today. And he's kind of like a Salvation Army Santa Claus guy.
Yeah.
And then later on, this was a peculiar, and I was a little offended by this portrayal of Santa. But later on, we see him without a beard. He just has a mustache. Santa is just like a bald white guy with a mustache.
Yeah.
I did think that
weird.
was
That is-
unnecessary and a little inappropriate.
It was hella inappropriate. It was basically like fucking sacrilegious. You might as well go fucking put Piss Christ in your movie.
Well, I realize, and not to interrupt you, Julian, but I realize now the agenda that you've been spinning over the course of this month is actually quite masterful, because 2 weeks ago, if you remember, you brought up the idea that there should be a unified Santa aesthetic that's like government mandated.
Yeah.
Or world's government mandated. New world
That's
order.
gonna be our-
one
that's
world
gonna
order
be
mandated.
First day in office.
And what that prevents is anyone from depicting Santa in a blasphemous or irresponsible way that would cause negative cultural damage. For instance, the commercial going around with the sexy Santa.
Yeah.
That's people have been doing. Now in this movie, honestly, the least trad thing about this movie, Hallmark, get it together. You're on our naughty list. Don't show Santa with just a mustache.
It's fucked up. He was bald too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Maybe I just have a very specific image in my head. Maybe he wasn't bald, but the mustache, I couldn't fucking see straight after seeing that. I was spinning.
Yeah.
Lightheaded and spinning.
Cross-eyed, fuming.
Yeah.
Dick hard as a rock.
That's the sexualization of Santa has got to stop.
I know.
I got a movie idea for you.
Yeah.
Christian finds out that it's called The Santa Candidate. Finds out somebody running for president is secretly a Santa believer and is going to make believing in Santa the like national religion.
Oh my
and,
God, it's like
do all this
Project
stuff.
2025.
Yes,
For
and
Santa.
there's like a Christian a veteran who has to assassinate him before he gets elected.
So it's like the Dead Zone with a Santa twist.
Yeah, or like the Manchurian Candidate.
Wow.
Maybe, but it could be like the Dead Zone because of the second sight thing that Santa has, and maybe, for some reason, the Christian guy has it instead. We'll just say
Yeah.
that Santa never had it, but Christians have second sight now.
God
that would
gives
be
the
cool
Christian
too,
second
because
sight.
I could see
Yes.
something coming up where he's like, "This guy hates Santa," when somebody has made it clear that they are against this person running for office.
Oh yeah, sneaking into
You're like, no,
it.
I don't
Well,
hate
I guess-
Santa. I
have a
just
name
don't
for the
think that
movie.
he's the Messiah.
Sneaking into the like pro Santa meeting or whatever, investigating this candidate, their past, sneaking into the pro Santa
Dressed
meeting.
in like a fucking beard and mustache.
Yeah. That's their uniform.
Yeah. I think the movie could be called Secret Santa.
Ooh,
It's
that's
not
really
bad.
good.
It kind of doesn't make sense, but it's good anyway.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, this one's got legs.
Anyways, what was the movie we were talking about?
Well, it's called Christmas CEO. We were talking about we were talking about the Santa in this movie.
And how we
I
have
guess
tons
another
of
element-
winks.
yeah.
There's tons of winks. I wouldn't say expected because it is a Hallmark movie. So I don't expect them to do anything actually magical. But I was hoping that it would be made apparent that he really is Santa at the end, which I'm sure you were both hoping as well.
Yeah.
And you would give
Yeah,
like a
it
little
was-
wink or like tap the side of his nose and then disappear or something.
It was very strange. He was like, it was almost like he was making like Alfred Hitchcock style cameos. Santa
totally.
instead of like, but then also like, I mean, it really was like he was just, you know, a celebrity making a cameo in a movie, and we're all supposed to be like, oh yeah, Santa, he's magical. And so there's like all these, like you're saying, like winks to the camera, like this guy. We know that Santa, and we know Santa's magical, but these characters don't. But also, he has nothing to do with the plot or anything. He
That
just
was a weak point.
every so often shows up and is like, get a load of these guys. They don't even know I'm Santa. Like, why?
Right.
Santa-
There should be a reason. It's Santa. It's not hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think another element of this film that we should mention is that Christmas, another challenge that befalls her this Christmas season is not only does she have to prepare for the merger, it's already busy, it's Christmas. I don't know if we even explicitly mentioned that she has to get Joe's sign off on the merger for it to work, but who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
She has to, and that's why she rekindles her friendship with Joe, which we should talk about in a moment. She also does have to take care of her niece.
Yes.
Her niece, because Christmas's sister is a folk singer, a professional folk singer.
Yeah. And her husband is a folk singer.
They're
a
both-
folk duo.
Yes, a regular Peter and Paul over here, regular Paul and Mary over here.
Mhm.
And they have a daughter. I believe it's Alice. No. It's Emma. And Emma is also an aspiring folk singer. She writes very sweet, saccharine, acoustic folk songs about Christmas. And she's
then
going to
claims
perform
she's
at the
a pop
Toy
artist.
Jamboree. Right.
Yes. Yeah. That was part of how she differed from her parents, is that she was into poppier stuff. and they
Yeah,
did
she rebelled
folk.
by liking pop music.
So they got a big they got their big break. They're opening for some big artist. So they got to go.
They're opening for Boyd Rice.
I was gonna say, what was that like Aryan
They're opening for Prussian Blue.
Russian Blue
on
yeah.
their world tour. Congratulations.
They're opening for Mr. Worldwide himself. But they have to do this show, of course. They have to go on this tour. It's a big break. And then what's their daughter's name?
Emma.
Emma has to stay with Aunt Christmas, and she is immediately bad at doing parenting. There is this weird scene early on where they're walking together while Christmas is on the phone doing CEO stuff. And they show up to school, and then she's like, here it is. Cause Christmas is about to walk on by. She's not paying attention. And she's like, oh, okay, bye. I'll see you at 4. And she's like, it's at 3. She's like, okay, well, and then, Emma's like, I'm really late. And I was like, you're just saying this now? It was very strange. It was like you waited till the whole walk to say that. Although I guess if she's so on her phone, maybe she would be waiting just to be passive aggressive.
Yeah.
But it's like she's always busy, but she's not really busy. Like she's not really doing anything.
Yeah.
She has to
That's just the type of person.
drop the kid off, and like she can't do that. And it's just so like
it's like learned help. It's weaponized helplessness.
and it's gotten her up to CEO, mind you.
Yeah, I mean that's the sad state of Wall Street these days. It's they've lost their edge.
They really have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't want to blame it all on
It's a sad-
non-believers.
It's the sad state of Toy Street.
Yeah,
That's what
but one of the main issue for Emma in her life is not they figure this out really quickly. Her Christmas is like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm got to do a better job, and then she does. That part's they move
that
on.
was nice.
Yes,
It was nice to
but
see
then-
that in a movie. Somebody say they're going to do a better job, and then they do it. I think we could learn a lot from that.
That's so true. But Emma wants to play an original Christmas song at, what is it, like the high school pageant? I don't know, some talent show, something like that, at school. And they won't let her. They won't let her perform an
They won't
original
let her do
song.
it.
It must be cleared by the board already. I don't know
This
why
is
she
why-
can't just send in the lyrics first, but that is not an option.
This is why we need
Yeah.
school choice.
That's right. And she,
They're trying to censor Christmas songs. There can't be no mention of Santa, no mention of
Yes.
presents.
yep, BS. And then so she, while Christmas is trying to recourt Joe, Sulky Sullivan, he offers her a gig at the Joy Jamboree. Is it the Joy Jamboree? Oh, it's the Toy Jamboree. That's what my note says. That makes more sense.
I
The
suppose.
Toy Drive, which is the Toy Jamboree. And then she's gonna be on a big stage in front of lots of people, and she can say whatever the fuck she wants.
Yeah, Santa's real.
She
Cut her mic.
Exactly.
Cut her mic. Ho, ho, ho.
in Santa.
Okay, put your hands together one more time for the flying turtle doves. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please join me in welcoming to the stage our very next performer, performing an original Christmas song. Put your hands together for Emma Stewart! Show them what you got.
All they want for Christmas is a little heart and love. They're not asking for an angel, just hoping Santa knows, wishing on a star through the window. They never stop believing, looking at the twinkling lights, dreaming of a present that's on its way to them tonight, tonight. Oh, joyful, joyful, this is the season, time to make a change. Santa, won't you bring them happiness on your sleigh? Ooh.
Seen some stupid fucking song like that. I hate that shit. I hate all these stupid movie folk songs where
It's
a girl
cool.
with the sweet voice is like,
How
I believe in Christmas.
do you how's a song like that get to? So we know our friend Mary, her song was in what was it?
She did get a
I
song
fucked
in
a football high school
Yeah.
football player or
Yes,
whatever.
yeah. Oh, yeah. That one was
Uh,
awesome. Lifetime, mind you. They have taste.
Yeah, that's true. But that, I mean, I guess that wasn't like a whatever the fuck they call it in utero. What is it called when the song's in the movie? Diegetic,
That could be.
whatever,
Yeah.
or non-diegetic. It's one of the
One of
two.
the two.
One of them is the they're
Diegetic is what she did in the Hallmark movie is diegetic, which is not ever going to be as good as turning on the radio and something cool is playing.
Yeah, she was like, it would be much better if she was like, my school won't let me go on stage and play a song from my phone that I like. Then we can have our friends' music in there. But how do you get to like? It's got to be like the CEO of Hallmark's like niece is like, oh, my niece has a song that she wrote about Christmas. Can we fit it into a movie?
Yeah.
Somehow.
The real Christmas CEO, the CEO of Hallmark.
Yeah, I'm just curious how this like process works. You know, are they like, oh, we need to find me an original song we can make for this movie, or I don't know. I thought this would be a better conversation.
Yeah, do you know, Ash? Do you have any idea?
No, I don't know.
You'd be the expert here. I certainly don't know.
It's all rigged by those people. I mean, the Christians, of course.
I know.
They control the media and they try to keep the Santa believers out.
We call them the Red Palms.
I don't even know.
Or the closed palms. I'm trying to think of. I just saw a really offensive thing for a Jewish person online, which, mind you, born and raised. I'm just reporting what I saw. I'm not going to say it, but trying to think of what an analogous thing would be for a Christian person.
Now, I'm not going to say what kind of a believer he was. He was a non-Santa believer.
Ugh. You're just so sick of these fucking controlling the
Disgusting.
weather.
Who doesn't like free gifts? Who doesn't like gifts?
That's what the non-Santa believers are trying to take away from you. They're always like, oh, we're so focused on gifts, Christmas tree. We're forgetting the reason for the season. Guess what the reason for the season is? Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I saw that little wooden casket come out of the river in Turkey, I knew that there was about to be a sea change.
People,
society.
all these like footage of like old women like wailing at the sight of the Santa's casket coming parading through the streets.
It's really been a wild week for both Christmas and CEOs.
It really has been. No, this movie could not have come at a better time.
My baby Yoda ornament shed a tear when they found the casket.
I'm just imagining at like the funeral for Santa, there's like they're interviewing people on the streets and they're like, I don't care what you say about Santa. He cleaned up the North Pole. He was a good guy. The North Pole was safer when he was here.
Yeah. That's our guy. And similar to John Gotti, or who's the guy from South America? Noriega? Not Noriega. Pablo Escobar.
Sure, yeah. Or
giving out presents to the
Chapo.
people. El Chapo.
Yes, yeah, he was
He goes by
That's
many
what he does.
names.
I guess we didn't talk a ton about Christmas and Joe's relationship. I mean, it's again about what you would expect from a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
They bond, rekindle their friendship, and clearly their attraction for each other. In the very beginning of the movie, as like kids, Joe tries to drop a hit that hints that he thinks Christmas is very pretty, and she doesn't pick up on it. And he was incel from that point on. One thing I really enjoy about Hallmark movies is the unspoken assumption that both characters are still virgins. Like
nothing has changed in their lives, and they both grew up to be very attractive people.
They're both like 35, which these days is like pretty common age, for relationships.
Be a
but
virgin.
to be, it's first of all, it's perfectly normal to be a virgin at 35. And I won't hear anything to the opposite of that. But I do love there's no mention of any like past romantic prospects. Sometimes in a Hallmark movie, you'll have like, well, she's already with a guy, and then she meets the true love of her life in her hometown. But realistically, they're virgins.
They are. Which, might I add about Santa believers?
Yeah.
I know I've been talking a lot about this. They fuck. We fuck.
Oh?
I saw mommy kissing Santa Claus.
Santa delivers all kind of toys. Okay?
Yes.
Yes, he does.
Adult toys.
Exactly.
We're not ashamed of our bodies and what we can do with them. Yeah. It's his one chance. It's interesting that they had we see them together as kids, and then we don't see them together again until after they've had like a rift in their relationship. But
7 years.
They started a very successful toy company with each other. Like, they have been in each other's lives for much longer than they have had this rift between them.
Yeah.
So it's like also kind of crazy that this never got brought up before. That if they're 35 now, they were like working closely together until they were 28.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creating toys since they were little kids, starting a company together.
Yeah.
That became so successful that one of them had to quit because of like their moral disagreement with the direction of the company.
Which I also saw as his really poor communicating, at least the way that they just explained it.
Yeah, well, that fits in line with the fact that like somehow they've known each other for their entire lives up until they were 28, and it never once came out that like they were attracted to each other.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, working closely late nights, like enthusiastic about the same stuff.
The toys come first.
Yeah.
Well, we were just talking about how Christmas and Joe are very bad communicators.
Well, yeah.
And that doesn't really improve much through the movie, but they finally get it into their thick heads that they're meant to be. But Joe does not approve of the merger, and in one of those like very confusing Hallmark movie rising actions, he hits her basically with it's either be the CEO of Arlo Toys or be with me.
Yeah.
To which I say, who fucking cares?
Yeah, why can't you be both?
Literally, why can't you be both?
Why can't you be both?
Or why does it have to? You're a fucking rich, powerful CEO. You're the most powerful CEO in toys. Why do you need this guy?
So a confusing thing is that when we see him, so 7 years ago, they had this falling out over a straightforward conversation that, at least how Christmas remembers it, was not even really an argument. And then she never saw him again for 7 years. He just pieced out. And now we see him working at his dad's old toy shop. He's very hands-on. He's big on the toy drive. He believes that not all toys should have to make money to still run a successful business, which he kind of lost me there. I don't think it's not like you're a grocery store, you know? I don't know. Then he's extremely self-righteous. But it turns out we were supposed to be on his side the entire time.
Yeah. What is it? What's the point of a toy that doesn't, like, isn't that point of all toys to be popular? Like, what is?
Yeah.
I don't know. Who are you making the toys for if you're like intentionally making a toy that is not popular? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess you could say the same thing about music or whatever, but it just seems like an odd thing to be like.
Well,
you can make toys for fun on the side. Like, you don't have to like make sure that your company whose sole purpose is to mass produce toys.
I mean, the mere existence of this company is like a fantasy, because what are you either? You're either an electronics company. You're making like manufactured toys based on IP, like Paw Patrol or whatever, or you're making, I guess, like small batch artisanal toys, made out of like natural materials or whatever. I guess I could see maybe a path forward for that, but like,
Yeah.
the idea of like, we're a toy company. Everyone's waiting for the new toy from CJ's Toys this Christmas. Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
There's no such thing.
Yeah.
It's not the 60s.
Right.
It is silly. What made sense to me in recent CEO lore that we've taken in was in The Forge. Although I didn't believe this company exists, I guess it could, theoretically.
Yeah.
Where part of the point of the company, which makes money, is that with the extra money they make, is that they have like missions where they're supplying people with stuff that they need in impoverished parts of the world.
Right.
Yeah.
The company
Which
has a mission built into its corporate structure.
Yeah, which that is more like straightforward. So if he was like, I want to do this so that I can do a bigger toy drive, that would make sense. But he was straight up saying, I want to make toys that cost more to make than we can profit off of.
Yeah. And what are these
That's
toys? The
stupid.
thing I'm having, there was never a like demonstration that he was making like, oh, this is like a cool goblin guy who like, this is for like kids who don't want traditional toys. They were all like, it was like a fucking little wooden ball you put in a cup, and he's like,
He was making hoop with stick.
yeah, and he was like, I don't care if this doesn't make any money anymore. We need to make this. And it's like, why?
I don't
It's
think
not
you
like
do.
you're not doing like, little bespoke action figures for like individual buyers on Etsy. And you're like, well, we have to put like, set aside a percentage of our budget to make these. You straight up just like, I want all of our money to go towards hoop with stick. I don't care how much kids don't want it. Like, who are you making the toys for at that point?
You're just making trash.
Yeah. You're making things for like adults who wouldn't even buy that shit anyways. So they
It's
can
like
walk into your fucking store and be like, oh, I remember this. I'm not going to buy it though.
It's like the reason he's good in this is just because he's so principled, however dumb those principles might be.
Yeah,
Yes.
like she could learn, like, not to side with Miss CEO here, but I mean, she could learn a thing or two, or I'm sorry, he could learn a thing or two from her. Like, the big thing was like, she was like, well, yeah, I want to make good toys, but your company has to turn a profit, or else it's not a company.
Yeah.
It can't employ people. It can't continue, to make things without the resources to do so. But he just, very childishly is just like, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to do that. And hey, that's his right. No one said he had to be in the toy business. But it's very funny at the end when, he gets to give her the, like, it's either the CEO or me. And she's like, well, bye. And then, she goes away and then talks to the CEO of Arlo Toys, who says to her, like, yeah, I haven't had sex in 60 years or whatever.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And
she's basically
she's
like, yeah, I regret it sometimes, but, well, she doesn't say this part, but she's like, but I'm retiring at 55.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Get all that old man dick now.
Yeah, she can get all the old man dick she wants.
It's awesome that Joe has like literally no power in the negotiations, and he's the one giving the ultimatum. I'm gonna start
Technically,
doing
his
that.
name has to be on the paper.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Yep.
Doing what?
Oh, and
Just giving ultimatums and
Yeah,
literally nothing.
Yeah, you're
until
No
you're
power.
president.
your friend
Yeah.
is like, oh, I was thinking like we could get some pizza on the way. Just be like, it's either the pizza or our friendship. Like, what? That would be fun. Yeah, spice things up a little bit.
It's a good idea.
But
so she's having second
Yeah,
thoughts.
go on.
She's having second thoughts about the big toy merger. Oh yeah, the reason she's doing the toy drive with him in the first place is because he says, if you want me to sign the piece of paper, you got to do the toy drive. You got to volunteer at the
Yep.
toy drive. And then she has
And then
fun
it keeps
doing it
moving.
because she likes toys.
He keeps moving those goalposts.
Yes.
Yup.
Because then,
And
it's like, oh, I'm actually in love with you. That's so immature.
Here we have classic Male narcissist, female BPD.
Yes.
Actually, maybe the opposite. Well, you know what's funny about throwing those words around? You can just say them about anybody.
It's like diegetic, non-diegetic.
Exactly.
It means whatever you need it to mean in this
Exactly.
situation.
Yes.
No, that means a specific thing.
Classic diegetic attitude there.
Yeah, diegetics be like, the noise is coming from my mouth, and
The noise is coming from inside the phone.
Classic non-diegetics be like throwing their
The
voice
music
and
is
shit
all around us.
Yeah.
Well,
So when she comes to get the signature from him after it's all said and done, he's like, really? Still? He can't believe it. He can't believe she still wants to go along and be CEO of a toy company, of a bigger toy company. He's like,
crazy.
He's like, I walk into this corporate office. Where are the toys? I don't see any toys.
It's crazy that she would choose her dream job that she's worked her whole life towards over a guy who disappeared for 7 years.
Yeah.
Based off of simple miscommunication.
That's how you know that they are
insane.
virgins, because the way they're acting is like, you could just, there's other ways to work this out and not even have to be
Yes.
near each other ever again.
Yeah, his commitment to like not getting a shitload of money is also very fun.
Yeah.
Even though I guess by the logic that he is like the founder and still on all the papers, like he seemingly has no problem just making tons of money off of this company while running his own little boutique place. Was there ever like a thing about how he's like not getting money from the company that he founded anymore or something?
he probably is getting money.
I mean, he's
Probably
still
is.
on like all the paperwork.
That's
Why
why
would
he
he not?
Gets to do nothing. Like, and he gets to be like, I'm the principal one.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
convenient for him to just be like, yeah, like what so he is making lots of money from the company and he's making toys that don't make any profit.
And he gets to do that because he was in the right place at the right time. And there's a woman who's like continuing the legacy of the company.
Yes. While he gets to have like a temper tantrum and just disappear and not do anything except exactly what he wants to do for 7 years without anybody telling him otherwise. And yet
He's
he
a
has
huge
like
baby.
he draws the line where it's like him making more money.
Yeah.
Yep. But that's the funny thing. So ultimately, he gets thrown off. There's a little bit of a decoy here, a red herring maybe, where he goes to the office, her office, after he's handed in the paper or whatever to wish her well. He wants to say hi or bye to her or whatever. Make a sad face to her or something. I don't know. And her assistant is like, oh, she's in the meeting right now and she told me to prepare champagne. So he's like, oh, she signed the merger. But would you believe it? That champagne was to celebrate that she's not signing the merger. She's gonna leave the company altogether, I think. I think that's what's happening. Was she leaving the company?
I think
Because-
so, to start a new company with that
Because
same guy.
yes, they're starting a new company. They're doing it the right way this time. And the funny thing is, at the end of it, it's like 2 years later, and they're having a holiday party, I think. And they're just like in a Mad Men style corporate office building again. I'm like, but there's no
Yeah.
toys here either. You just wanted stuff your way.
It's crazy to think that they already did this. And then 7 years later, they're just like, let's do it again.
Let's do it again. Yeah, we
Truly
didn't see that
crazy.
part, but it was a
Yeah.
part of their story. But the difference is we, the audience, get to see this one.
It just, yeah. They're just doing this for whatever reason. We could have just gone to them like the first time all this shit happened.
Yeah. We could have heard that story.
And then, but instead there had
That's a
to be
good
a
point.
7-year gap because they weren't like old enough for it to like relate to the target Hallmark audience. So they
Yeah.
had to
Oh,
just be
yeah,
like,
totally.
They didn't relate to
right.
childless 35 through 40-year-olds.
Yeah.
So we need to.
Yeah, all my 35-year-old childless friends are watching Hallmark movies. too.
Yeah, that's not what it's
Exactly.
geared towards.
So who is it? It's just like not like old. I guess like, yeah, old people wouldn't believe it if they wouldn't care if it was like a 28-year-old, basically like a Zoomer cusp, starting a successful toy company. And then what was the point of this movie? It didn't really promote Santa.
I mean, why make a movie about anything, I guess?
It's like they made a mockery of Santa.
They did. Santa was, as we've already described, portrayed in an unsavory light.
Sickening.
Oh, actually, now that you
and-
say it, there was a funny part with Santa where she was bringing by toys to donate to the toy drive, and then Santa, she like hands them off to Santa, and then he turns around and gives them to kids, and they're all excited, and he's like, "See, this is what it's really about." But he's saying it in a way where it's like, "Don't you want to do this?" And it was like, "But she just did. You just took them out of her hands and then handed them to the kids."
Yeah. Santa's fucking. I am so upset with the way they treated Santa
It's
in this
really
film.
fucked up.
They made him evil.
He's
Kind
not
of.
evil. You should fear him, but he's not evil.
Right, exactly. No, he loves you. But yeah, I mean, why make a movie about anything? None of it really happened. Except for Reagan.
Yeah, that was the last time we watched a
A
movie,
movie about something that really happened.
that really happened.
Yeah. It's one of the few movies that ever get made about
They
something
cut
that
out
really
the part
happened.
where he shot down Santa, though.
Well, he shouldn't have been flying over the White House.
So you're telling me that there's an old man flying a sleigh over our country once a year, and you're letting it happen?
And his advisors are like,
We got to make our own Reagan movie where it's all about him shooting down Santa.
It'd be
That'd be
so
awesome.
funny to like remake Reagan with all of our friends and add in a Santa plot where there's
Be
like
awesome.
80 characters and half of them are Russians, just like Reagan.
The Iran
Just like
Santa
the movie.
scandal.
Yeah.
I thought it was only this man in the sleigh that could bring down Reagan's anti-communist ways.
Those are the elves.
Or it's called Reagan, but it's completely from an Iranian standpoint. And he shoots down Santa.
Oh, we forgot about the part when Joe, to get back at Christmas, 3D prints
Yes.
veterinary silencer pistol. And
Is that what he used?
I've heard conflicting reports. I don't know
Why
what's
would
true.
why would a vet need a when you take your dog to get put down? Do
You
they
just
pull out
read
a
things on
silenced
Twitter, and then
pistol?
people like I read that he used a veterinary gun,
Okay,
What?
but
I guess if you're like shooting a horse or a cow or something,
but that also doesn't make sense. I've also heard people say he used a 3D printed gun.
that I've heard.
That's
I think
what
that's,
I've heard.
That's
Yeah.
true.
But I mean, these are all just things I've seen from like, articles called like NewYorkNews.biz
Yeah.
or whatever. So I'm like, ugh.
In India Times or whatever the one is.
Yeah.
That's always like most popular names. or whatever. Yeah, Joe 3D prints a hoop and stick and launches at her while she's leaving her hotel.
Finally, the ethical toy maker strikes again. The world's most
One way or
ethical toy
another, a CEO is down in this movie.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And this one, she's down to fuck. Well,
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 you're telling me you've been talking for an hour and 15 minutes and you haven't even rated the movie.
his advisors are like, whoops. What did we think, boys, of our third?
Wait, okay,
Christmas movie
wait,
this
real
season?
quick.
Yeah.
So the reason John Hinckley is trying to assassinate Reagan is because he finds out about the plot that Santa's going to be shot down.
Oh my God.
And it's just like the CIA
Reagan was on his
frantically
way.
erasing the information he was going to be leaking out to the media.
He saved Christmas.
Yes.
He was on his way, Reagan was, to press the button to launch the nuke to blow up Santa. And John Hinckley stopped it.
Yeah, he distracted him enough that when he was in the hospital, you know, they had to change the plans.
It'll be called the Final Christmas, actually. The Final Christmas.
Operation Final Christmas. The final solution to the Christmas problem.
And it'll be that there was one more Christmas with Santa thanks to John Hinckley. And then after that, Reagan does, in fact, you know, launch missiles at the North Pole.
He did it to impress Rudolph. I don't know. Let's rate this movie, fellas.
Not right.
What is our opinion? What's our Charles opinion of the Christmas CEO?
You know, I like it. I think that CEOs have been getting a bad rap lately, and I think it's nice that we got to take a look at a more fair and balanced view of a CEO and how difficult it is.
Yeah.
That being said, this was a disgusting fucking blasphemous portrayal of Santa Claus. I'm going to have to give it a 3 out of 3 hoes.
Wow.
Ho, ho, ho. Not the insulting one. I didn't say that because of the female CEOs. I say because of the Santa stuff. Maybe I should change my thing.
You're overthinking it. Look, Hallmark is not for overthinking things.
That's so true.
Which is why
I resist reviewing.
Exactly. It's true. This Hallmark is, they are aiming to have something that you can put on in the background while you fold the laundry, make dinner, do
the
dishes,
toys, whip the elves.
Yeah.
Brush the reindeer.
Wrap toys.
Yep. How do they make money? Are there really that many people who are just putting the shit on in the background that it's like, and ad people are like, yeah, it's working.
I actually just read recently that watching Christmas movies on TV, actual cable television, is still does real numbers.
That's so crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
It's
so that's a big part
miracle.
of it. And then also now there's like Hallmark Plus, or you can like sign up for Hallmark through like, you know, Apple TV or whatever like that too.
Wow.
Hallmark Plus.
Oh yeah, I almost got a free trial of that to watch this actually.
That is what I did.
Whoa.
In fact. And then I immediately canceled it after finishing this movie. My first plan was I set a reminder for a week later, and I was like, I can watch more Hallmark movies this week. And then when it ended, this movie was just so perfect. I knew I wouldn't have to watch any more Hallmark movies this week. And that's why I have to give it 40 out of 40 Hallmark Christmas movies that came out this year.
Wow.
Like
a fucking puppy mill.
I think I have seen, although I haven't seen enough Christmas movies this December, this movie was so Hallmarky that I don't need to see any more Hallmark Christmas movies this December. That's how good of a job they did.
Right. They really did. I loved this movie. I thought it had a lot for us in these modern times. Taught us the real reason for the season. That, of course, is the worshipful appreciation of Santa Claus. To quote the film, "Christmas tree shopping is a sacred experience." That was an actual quote from the film. We never really got to that, but it's very silly.
Yeah.
Gonna have to give this film 0 out of 0 Christmas trees, because that is how many trees Christmas had in her apartment.
Right.
Sorry, if your name is Christmas, you got to have a damn Christmas tree.
So
Them's the rules. I wrote in my notes, clearly getting drunk. Where's your Christmas tree, you goofy ass bitch?
At least have a fake one that you can pull out. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think somebody would give her one as like a gift. I don't know.
Well, she's not into handouts.
So
she can buy her own Christmas tree. She don't need a man until she does.
To do literally anything.
Yeah. And Joe is there. Well, thank you to all of our high-powered Christmas executives who support Boys Bible Study. I think this is a free episode, so just in case, I will say, if you are curious in getting Boys Bible Study content every single week, why don't you go to patreon.com/Boys Bible Study. You can subscribe and get extra special bonus contents. And you can slowly but surely turn us into Christmas CEOs. And that would be a win for all of us, I think. Mostly for us.
A rising tide.
Also, special thanks to our patron saints on the $20 tier. The CFOs. Nicole, Marissa, Jeff, Rhett, and Mark. Thank you very much for your generous support. Also, our outro song is Oh My God by Mary. So from all of us here at Boys Bible Study, myself, Ash, my co-founders and CEOs, Scott and Julian, we would like to say, peace be with you.
And also with you.
A very Reagan Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Joe.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I feel your love in me, it's coming from within. Oh my God, my devotion is so unwavering. Divine emotions when